Yep, it's me again. They hate me, that's why they give a fuck about me at the same time as always. JD Miles. The MGTOWs they love to hate. Even the ones that claim everybody loves to hate them, love to hate MGTOW at the same time, which is why they keep us relevant to this date. And I'm back again. Now, well, fellas, I haven't done a story time video in a while. And shout out to Mr. Mr. C. He did not want me to put his name out there, so I'm gonna just call him Mr. C. But y'all see the title of the video. Am I less of a man for not intervening in my friend's abusive relationship with her boyfriend? Now before y'all cast judgment here, get to know the full story. This is his words. Get to know the full story and why I didn't intervene. Now, this happened during my college years. Both me and this lady friend I had, in which we got together back in middle school, on through high school, and throughout college. Since it was our senior year, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna shoot my shot. And yeah, I shot my shot, and she shot me down. Oh well. Twice. Oh well. I can take rejection. I could take rejection. And of course, my fears came to pass. She shot down my shot because to her, I'm more like a brother than anything. Okay, okay, fair enough. I ain't gonna stress the situation. Moving on. I found someone, she found someone. But then I began to notice that both me and the rest of our friends began to notice that every time she gets together with us, she has bruises everywhere. Some of the bruises she tried to cover up. She tried to cover up with makeup, and yet they still show. Some of my friends begin to question: is everything okay? One of my friends jumped up and said, "No, it ain't okay. It's clear to see that the dude that she's with is putting his hands on her. I mean, this is a telltale sign." I didn't say nothing. But I was pissed off when I found this shit out. So a few days later, one of my friends was having a party at his house. We all got together. We were drinking. We were eating all that type of things. You know, like any other normal party. But then, near the garage doorway, no one was around. I noticed that her boyfriend was started being her again. And at that point, I had to intervene because he's doing this. He's doing this at our friend's house during a party. And if he would have found out, this would be indeed thrown. So I intervened. In it. And I let him know, dude, why are you putting your hands on a woman? What kind of man are you? And yeah, we got into it too. And surprisingly enough, I ended up beating his ass. Ain't it ironic? Ain't it ironic that it's easy for him to put his hands on a woman, but when face to face with a man, he has no chance in hell. So at that point, I knew what he was about. And with all the commotion, everybody else started running, started heading to where we was at, and they wondered, is everything okay? And I let it be known. This motherfucker right here is putting his hands on her. Everybody, nobody was surprised at all, considering the fact that that they've seen the signs already. However, instead of her being appreciative that her friends is there to help her in this situation, instead she becomes resentful. She's wondering why did I get involved, even though the answer is obvious. She goes on to say that I need to mind my own business and I need to stay out of both her and her boyfriend's affairs. And I'm like, what the fuck? He's the one putting his hands on you. And somehow you mad at me because I jumped in and stopped it? But she repeated herself again. Mind your business. I didn't want to go tit for tat back and forth with her. So I'm like, no what, fuck it. Fuck it. Got back in my car, I went home. 2 weeks later, another friend of ours was having a party. And you could probably say that the shit was clockwork. I mean, what else we do at the party? Get drunk, eat, and guess what? The same shit happened again. He put his hands on her, but this time I decided, you know what? You know what? She completely bit my head off the last time I intervened. So I'm like, fuck it. If this is what she wants, I respect her wishes. I backed away until one of her friends saw what's happening and they intervened. What's more is that they saw me there, but I didn't do anything. In which one of the friends came to me and asked me, why did I not stopped him from putting his hands on her? What are you, less of a man? In which my response was, before you question my manhood, why don't you ask her? She the one who told me to mind my business and stay out of both her and her abusive boyfriend's affairs. She the one who told me to mind my business. So don't get mad. So don't get mad at me because I decided not to do something because she told me to. She told me to mind my business and stay out of her affairs, even if her abusive boyfriend is putting his hands on her. Because if I would have intervened again, it's gonna be the same shit. She's gonna get mad at me and she's gonna lash out at me. In fact, I'm happy that y'all stepped in. And before her friends could argue with me, everyone else came in. They were like, look, they look. I could vouch for what he's saying because that's exactly what she told him. In which her friends went back to her and they were asking her, why would you let him put his hands on you? And why are you turning down people stepping in to stop him from doing it? That don't make no sense. And suppose the next time he put his hands on you, the next time he put his hands on you, how would you know that? How would you know that the next time it happens, it won't be just a beating? It may be worse. You be hospitalized or worse, dead. But at that point, I was over it. I just didn't give a damn anymore. And like clockwork, I got back in my car and I left. But still, but still, what her friend told me still rocked me to the core. So basically, I just can't win for losing here. If I would have intervened, then she's gonna get pissed off at me because I stopped her boyfriend for beating her ass. If I didn't intervene, then her friends is looking at me like I'm less of a man. So I'm at a point to where I just can't win for losing. But JD, what do you think about the situation? Was I wrong for not intervening because she told me not to? Well, Mr. C, I don't know what to say. Clearly I don't. And I also agree with you. And yes, I also agree with you, Mr. C. No man should ever have to put their hands on a fucking woman. In fact, I have no respect. And hear me out. I have no respect whatsoever to any man who put his hands on a woman. Fucking woman beaters out the gate. To me, I look at a man who does that shit to a female as a punk. Especially one who will do that shit, but at the same time, if a man confront him and they get into a fight and he gets his ass beat, that's a telltale sign right there. But back to your issue, Mr. C. To be honest, there's really much you can do at all. Oftentimes I myself sit back and I question if these dudes are putting their hands on their women and abusing their women, then why she is so persistent on staying with that abusive ass punk? That's the one question that floats through my mind. I mean, what is it with these woman beaters that makes these females still want to stay with these dudes? And believe me, I have a passionate hatred for these punks because, after all, before my baby mama met me, she herself was in an abusive relationship, and I put it into that shit. So yeah, I have a passionate hatred for motherfuckers who can't keep their hands to themselves. Let's just say it like that. But what makes these females still want to be with these abusive motherfuckers? Money, status. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But the fact that she would be mad at you because you intervened and stopped him from escalating the situation, that shit blows my mind out the gate. The fact that she'll get mad at you for stopping her abusive boyfriend from putting his hands on her, that is infinity and beyond me. But then again, you do have females who are like that. No matter how much their boyfriends or husbands put their hands on them, somehow, they will defend them no matter what. And sometimes all the way to the grave. Do I look at you as less of a man for not intervening like she told you not to? No, I don't look at you as less of a man. If that's what she clearly wanted, then then hands down, there's no way around that shit. And what's worse, even though you beat his ass, you still don't know what this dude's capable of. And it's a good thing your friends were there too for them to intervene because I know for a fact that he would have put his hands on them. He had everybody else, including yourself, to deal with. So of course he ain't gonna take it that far. But by the end of the day, you did what you thought was necessary. You tried to stop it. She got mad at you, told you to mind your business. The next time it happened, you decided to mind your business exactly what she wanted you to do. And then her friends got mad at you because you did not intervene, even though you only did what you was told to do by her. In a situation like this, there is no clear answer. And there are some questions that still have yet to be answered at all. I know this isn't the answer you were looking for, but I answered your question the best way possible. Do I look at you as less of a man because you didn't intervene because she did not want you to? No, I don't look at you as less of a man, but still, but still, that's all I can say on that matter. But nevertheless, I hope I answered your question the best way possible. I said what I had to say on the matter. I'm done and I'm out this bitch. Later.